Lights, camera, debate, ignite, passion strong under the spotlight. Tune in for the clash, tune in for the spark. The critic and the cynic light up the dark.
Welcome back to The Critic and the Cynic. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next on the list, which is Christmas with the Singhs. Singhs.
Okay, well...
Singhs?
Well, he's from Virgin River.
Okay.
Which means this is probably going to be pretty corny.
Well, Virgin River is pretty corny. So, you're saying Benjamin...
At least I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so we have our tagline here of when worlds of tradition meet, magic happens. So, we're talking about a mashup of different cultures, like it looks like Indian culture and American probably, which could be interesting because I don't know how many different cultures celebrate Christmas or their version of Christmas or whatever. Do they have Christmas in India? Is it something similar? I don't know. I'm not that well versed in that kind of world. It could be good because there's some stuff there that I like watching. So let's take a look at the premise. Newly engaged Asha, Singh, I don't know how you say that name. I feel like I'm butchering it. And Jake O'Brien are excited to spend Christmas together, but their relationship is tested when their family's cultural and holiday traditions clash. Okay, so she's probably an Indian American. And they're getting married, so they're getting excited about Christmas, but it's their parents. It's more of a meet the parents situation.
Which, I mean, that could be fun.
Yeah, the meet the parents stuff is always an interesting choice. It says languages is English and Hindi, so it's not like you're going to have the parents come in and speak American while chastising her for having Indian American values. The parents are probably going to speak Hindi, which at least they're approaching it more appropriately, I would imagine. I could be wrong. Once again, we have a rating of like 63%, 25 votes, 111 watchers, 149 plays.
All right, then.
It could be good, could be hot garbage.
2 hours later.
We can officially call this Singhs. That's how they pronounce it.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the film, to give you a quick recap, is the Meet the Parents type of movie where an American is hanging out, gets engaged to an Indian American girl, and so his culture and his family culture, they clash with her parents' culture as well. It's just great fun. It really is Meet the Parents, though, even down to narrative choices that they make from beginning to end. Lots of that is Meet the Parents.
Yeah, but I would say that this is a more realistic, grounded version of Meet the Parents. And I'll go out and say I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it to a limited amount. I only say that because I love and I cherish Meet the Parents, and this felt like a cheap knockoff to me. And it's almost at certain points I felt like they were trying to copy certain mannerisms as some of the actors had in Meet the Parents, and that's when I just felt like a penny saver version. But if you aren't somebody who loves that film or even really has seen it at all,
I've seen it,
then you're not going to make that distinction that I did.
Well, probably not.
Obviously, meeting of the parents, that's a very standard trope. We see it a lot. It's just that I prefer it in Meet the Parents, and as well as Guess Who with Ashton Kutcher and Bernie Mac. These were two movies that I look to when it comes down to Meet the Parents. But, like you said, it is more realistic, and I do appreciate how they approached the cultures going on. There's not a huge cultural shift. They answered the question on if they celebrate Christmas accurately, because I also Googled it, and basically, Indians celebrate Christmas If you're a Christian, right. It's much more about religion there than it is for us here, because we'll have the people here who celebrate because they're Christians, but also if you're not Christians, you still celebrate it in America. For them, they have to be religious, from what I understand, and they didn't shy away from that. They're like, yeah, it's pretty big for us because we're Christians, which is great. I didn't really sense anything in terms of different language barrier things going on. They were all speaking English.
Pronunciation. There was a joke about the mom.
Yeah, okay. But overall, like, when you look at this film and you expect it to be one way, I think it is. It's just, it's not as far as I would have liked it to be. But you said that you probably liked it more than I did.
Yeah. Well, I think the world is full of all of these wonderful, vibrant, and unique cultures, and representation matters. And so I really appreciate seeing that on Hallmark.
Especially Hallmark,
even if
yes.
It's a little bit subdued and probably not all that, I can't attest to how accurate or anything is, but I mean, even if it is kind of Hallmarkerized.
Hallmarkerized.
Then, I mean, I just appreciate seeing the representation.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Our leading characters here, they're not pristine, perfect, model, whatever, citizens. They're regular.
Yeah.
They're people.
I mean,
they're just people that you can believe.
They're people. They're still beautiful in their own
I didn't
regard,
say that they weren't. I'm just saying they're not like magazine cover models or anything.
They're not going to be on the cover of Vogue.
Right. And you also had the racist, not necessarily racist, but questionable, definitely questionable grandma.
It wasn't a grandma.
It was his mom.
It was his mom.
So I call her grandma. They don't have children,
have kids
but
yet.
she's still old.
She was like your typical well-meaning but cringy moments.
Yeah, she's like, oh, one of my favorite movies is, insert Indian film here. And then she shows up to parties wearing cultural appropriation, like Indian garments and whatever.
She was trying.
Yeah, it's about as best as you could say. Yeah. So, like I said, it has a very strong, very obvious inspiration from Meet the Parents. Not just the trope, but the actual movie. The characters, in certain ways, reflected them. A lot of their mannerisms and personalities were pretty similar, but like you said, a little bit more grounded. I guess it kind of comes down to preference.
And I appreciate being a little bit more grounded sometimes.
I mean, hey, there's a lot of movies that I love that are grounded. Well, and if they ended up having stupid humor, I would hate them. For instance.
Yes, but you also like movies that are a little over the top because your humor is a little bit different than mine. But
yes, but I usually appreciate any kind of humor, really.
Yeah.
That's grown over the years, but I do like to shut my brain off from time to time and things of the nature. And a lot of humor these days, a lot of comedies, even if they are stupid humor, there's nothing about them that sticks out, and they're boring as they are. Meet the Parents, I thought, was also smart in its dumb humor.
Yeah, that's fine. Rat Race, that's like my favorite comedy movie of all time.
And that's dumb humor, but it's smart, dumb humor.
It is set up so good.
That's why I consider both Rat Race and Meet the Parents to have smart, dumb humor. Okay. I'm right. Sure. Anyways, go ahead and give us your percentage, your rating.
I'm gonna go with like a 65.
You're gonna go with 65.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a 55-60.
Okay.
I liked elements of it, but there's also elements of it where I was just like, all right, I get where you're getting that from. I can see where you borrowed that from, and then there's certain elements that felt more original, but I was also bored with, and then I don't know. Like, it wasn't everything that I wanted it to be.
Well, I mean, but you're not going to get everything that you want out of these movies. It's going to be like, all right, they're better than some.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you have it, folks.